What's going on, everybody? Again, the SEC strikes back, and we're just these guys have no remorse. They just want to keep pummeling this down, and this is just starting to become, in my opinion, a political issue, that just doesn't really make sense. After my trip to Dubai, and after my time traveling throughout the world, which I don't live in the U.S. anymore. It's like, man, what is going on here? What is the reason that these guys are starting to come after crypto so hard? And I have some interesting things that I want to share with you today, because I can't make any sense of it outside of it's a political issue. Now, you drop in the chat. Good morning, Annie Mir. What's going on? How you doing? Let me share my screen here so we can kind of get our jump into some of this stuff here. But let's take a look at some of the things that I bookmarked today on X. Now, there's an audio file. Actually, let's see if I want to have everybody listen in on this, because this is the former SEC enforcement official, John Reed Stark, says, so long as the Democrats are in charge of the SEC, because it's become such a partisan issue, the SEC crypto onslaught will continue. So let's go ahead and listen to this thing right now.
There's a lot of talk about whether
Can you guys hear?
the
Ruben,
SEC
can they
is
hear?
going to approve a Bitcoin spot ETF, or whether the SEC
Can
is
you
going to
guys hear?
appeal the Ripple decision, which they've just said they're going to do.
Cool.
Whether the SEC is going to keep on bringing these cases. And the answer is, so long as the Democrats are in charge of the SEC, because it's become kind of a partisan issue, the SEC's crypto onslaught will continue on every front. There'll be no regulatory relief. There'll be no slowing down of enforcement actions. There'll be appeals. There'll be aggressive cases. There'll be all sorts of joint work with the FBI, who have their own crypto unit. The good news for the crypto enthusiasts is that because the issues become so partisan, what's going to happen is that if a Republican gets elected, there'll be a complete reversal, I think, of just about all that, except for the more egregious cases of fraud. But as far as regulatory pronouncements, when it comes to whether Coinbase, Binance, and Beaxy, and Bittrex, and all these crypto intermediaries are acting as broker-dealers or exchanges or clearing firms, those sort of cases are going to stop if a Republican gets elected. What's so funny is that this wasn't really always a partisan issue. In fact, it was one of the few issues when I first started writing about it in 2017. It was one of the few issues that was completely nonpartisan. You had Maxine Waters, Donald Trump, and Hillary Clinton all saying the exact same thing about cryptocurrency. But somewhere along the line, it became a partisan issue. And you have Democratic leaders saying that it's filled with grift and chicanery. And you have Republican leaders, especially Senator Loomis, who's even siding with a party in litigation, saying as far as the motion to dismiss from Coinbase, that the Coinbase action should be the Coinbase motion to dismiss should be granted. So it's become this incredibly partisan issue.
So, this is, by the way, the former SEC enforcement official. By the way, I need for all of you that are on right now, smash that like button. We need to get more people on here because they need to be aware of this bully, the SEC, and how political that this has become. Now, if you don't know what's happened, this is a post from Jake Chervinsky, where the SEC just sent a Wells notice to Robinhood, okay? And basically the number they've sent about crypto in recent months is astonishing. It's hard to imagine that they would or could bring so many enforcement actions at once. It seems like they are abusing the Wells process as a scare tactic now. So he goes on to state the SEC allocates a grossly disproportionate amount of its resources to crypto, given that its actual purpose is to regulate equity and debt markets. Every minute and taxpayer dollars spent on crypto is one not spent on the real mission of that the Congress created the SEC to pursue. If the SEC brings as many enforcement actions as it has sent Wells notices, it will be a flagrant violation of both the law and its congressional mandate. If not, it's clearly abusing the Wells process to get free discovery and terrorize upstanding U.S. companies. Which is it? And so this is something that I think is they're just, man, the claws are coming out with them. And again, they've politicized this. Actually, let's go back to X. I want to show you guys something that and this is let's look at Elon Musk. Okay, so I actually think that the two front runners for this election, it's not Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Can you guys guess who it is? Let's see. I'm going to look at the chat here. Can you guess who the two front runners are? Let's see. Type it in the chat. I'm waiting. No clue. Annie Mir, no clue. Newsom, no way. RFK and Donald Trump. I think it's going to be between RFK and Donald Trump. And the reason is because there's a lot of people. I don't know if you guys know this, but RFK is actually winning in the polls. What? All right. Winning in the polls. I'm going to actually drop this video that Elon Musk shared today, all right, which is kind of cool because, everybody associates Elon Musk with being a Democrat, or sorry, not a Democrat, a Republican, and he's really not. He's just kind of like an independent guy who just believes. I just dropped this chat. This video is worth a watch. I actually watched it the other day. Now, look, they're all politicians. They're all going to tell you the things that they want to believe, but the thing that I like about RFK the most is that I actually used to be in the law and I used to be a Democrat. All right. Up until about 10 years ago, where I really started to see that all of these guys and gals, somebody was in their back pocket. All right. Somebody was in their back pocket. But what I do like about RFK is some of his stances on healthcare. I'm not going to say which exactly ones because I don't want to get, throttled down in YouTube. And also his position on like the environment, which I do believe that there are some things that we can clean up in the environment. I see it all over the world and I travel all over the world. And I think that we've got to extend our hands out. I think a lot of people, and this is why he's winning so much, is he actually is, he's reaching out to both sides of the party and he's playing to like the middles in both of them, yeah, some people have, conservative values, but they do want the government to maybe help out a little bit more. And then there's people who don't want huge government, right? Don't want to be tax death. And I think this is the thing that he's really, really into right now. Taxes is a big thing. The vilification of entrepreneurs and the rich. I think he's really, really starting to look into all of that. And he's a litigator, like what I used to be in before, which I really like. And he took on some of the biggest companies, Monsanto, which I'm a big fan of. All right. I'm a big fan of him going after Monsanto, just because I don't want my food all jacked up. You know what I mean? Like, don't touch my food. So this is definitely worth a watch. I put it here in the chat. Give it a 30-minute watch. All right. I watched it the other day and I was pretty impressed. In the fact that he's actually ahead in the polls as an independent. I was all for it. All right. I was all for it. And I started sharing this with more people. I shared this on X. If you feel like he's kind of more of the down-to-earth guy, and again, I love the fact that he was a litigator, because there's so many lawyers now. They're Democrats just because they have to be Democrats. which, you know, usually lawyers are more liberal. But here's the thing with him, it's like he's dealing with bigger litigation issues, which I really, really dig. Like there was a case that I helped in a class action many, many years ago against a drug called Avandia. I think it was against Pfizer. And we sued the living crap out of them. We worked with them because they were causing like heart attack and stroke. All right. And there's been medicine, I'm going to say not real medicine, but like medicine that they've been giving out that people are getting really sick from. All right. And Avandia took like 10 years of treatment before it came out. And this recent medicine only took like 10 months for it to launch, if that. Okay. And so for him to take on these big pharmaceutical companies, which I think is totally the problem, for him to take on the big companies, the big lobbyists, I think is totally the problem. He's got my vote. And I haven't voted since the first time Obama, because after that I just saw all the BS behind it. But I actually might turn up to vote for him because I like the fact that he's a litigator. You can do a lot with the law in the United States, like what the SEC is doing right now. It can work for you. It can also work against you. So I'm all for it. But I think if we have RFK or Trump in there, I prefer RFK in my opinion. Trump, he's still just too divisive. His ego's bigger than the room. I mean, I've never been a fan of Trump, but come to choosing between Biden and Trump, I choose Trump all day long because Biden, is he still even alive? Like, come on. The guy's just like a walking corpse and whatever. So anyway, yeah, he's a Kennedy. So anyways, this is just something that I did want to share with y'all in regards to that. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the market, because we've got some very, very interesting things going on here. And I think that we could start seeing a reversal here very, very soon. Right here, you can see Bitcoin whales have been buying the dip as selling activity slows. Now, I have a YouTube video coming out here in the next few days. Hence, you want to hit that like button. You want to hit that subscribe button, because that's going to tell you when that video hits. And that video is called Buying the Dip. And then there's like an X on it on the thumbnail. Okay. I just got done recording it a couple days ago and it's in production. But that doesn't mean other people can't buy the dip. Let them buy the dip. I'm going to show you all how you can get in at the right time so that your entries are looking as good as possible when it comes to buying Bitcoin or any other altcoin out there. So essentially, there's been a huge surge of Bitcoin whales buying the dip, which to me is a good thing always. Okay. And there's way less whales selling. Now, why is this? Well, there's been some nice headways in Hong Kong. Hong Kong last week just launched their ETF. Okay. And oh man, sorry, the electricity just went out here. So if I'm looking dark, it's because I'm in the dark now, but internet still works. All right. So essentially, the ETFs launched last week, and the US ETFs ended up having like a lot of outflow of Bitcoin at that time, but the Hong Kong launch actually softened the outflow. So there was still a lot of buy pressure, which helped during the last week's sell pressure from the US ETFs. So this is kind of what's held that price of Bitcoin up in like that 62, 63 point range. My stop loss actually triggered. I ended up setting a buy order at 64,900. It took, and then it wicked back down, and now I'm out of that position. And I'm eyeing for a little bit more confirmation. I'm probably going to wait for more confirmation above my indicator for a couple of days before I actually get back into Bitcoin. And I'm probably going to use a little bit less leverage this time around. But this is a good sign. And I'm really, really keeping my eye on this because I think that there's some upwards momentum coming here soon. Dogecoin, which I actually am in this position right now. This one does have some confirmation. There's about 2-day confirmation that Dogecoin now is holding this. I actually mine Dogecoin, for those of you who don't know, and Litecoin. When you mine Litecoin, you actually mine Dogecoin. Litecoin is just kind of in the garbage right now, just because after their halving last year, the price has been down a little bit. But Dogecoin has been crushing it. I mean, I've made a lot of money on my Dogecoin here, my Dogecoin miner, in the last few weeks. So there's a potential 15% pump coming. Now let's take a look at, here's this headline, everybody. So I'm going to bring up here the Dogecoin chart because I want everybody to take a look at what I'm looking at. All right. And again, I'm going to put a video out. I'm putting out like 4 videos in the next few days. So be on the lookout. I've just recorded them all. But essentially, Dogecoin, I'm going to show you all right now what the indicator has to look like for me in order for Dogecoin to be bought. All right. In order for Dogecoin to be purchased. 1 second here. I'm pulling it up as we speak. All right, there we go. Let's pull this up and let's share this tab so everybody can see. By the way, again, I need everybody to smash that like who's here. Share this with your friends. Get the word out there. All right, so let's take a look here. We've got this Dogecoin indicator. So not Dogecoin indicator, but the indicator that I'm using, which is called the SSL hybrid, okay? And you can see that it is holding above this line. So this is telling me that this particular article could be spot on. Okay, we could see a 15% climb over the next few days. Now, if I were to do this, I think I'm trading this on 4x leverage. So if it goes up by 15%, then I'm going to be the beneficiary of a 60% climb on here. Okay, now I've set up a stop loss right here. Okay, based on my risk practices. All right, you have to be practicing your risk strategy here because the last thing you want is to be getting into crypto and then not having any proper risk strategies. And I've done it before. All right, and it's not easy to implement, but this is what we teach. Ruben, throw up in the link for those people that are not part of our group. Throw up in the link the way that they can sign up. All right. So yeah, let's see here. Let's see some of these chats here in regards to, okay, there we go. There's the link. And I have one of my favorite people on here, Melanated Brown. It would not be alive without Melanated Brown here. All right, let's move on to our last thing here, which is one of the cryptos, another crypto that I'm going to talk to you all about that I've been, that I actually got into, and that's looking really, really sweet and juicy. And that is GRT. Now, the cool thing, again, GRT holding above this line. Okay. The last thing you want to be stuck is like between these lines. That's like no man's land. That's where you can lose money. Okay. But when you have these confirmations, and it's able to hold above this blue line, this top blue line, obviously, that's when things are looking good for this trade. Okay, we obviously want it to hold above, and this is based on the daily candle, so we're just waiting for this thing to hang above. But I do believe that GRT is a good one. GRT is an AI coin. It's one of the king daddies of AI. And so you definitely want to be in on this. And we've got it in our managed vault currently. But also, we have this GRT. We are actually putting it so that we can stake it and earn additional GRT inside of our management.
Hey, Gavin, could you pull the chart up? The chart isn't showing.
There we go. All right, so we got the chart here. So, anyways, we've got some really good movement on this one, and I do believe we're just making money on top of money on GRT. And we just entered this position as well in the last couple of days in our managed vault because our indicator told us, hey, safe to buy, good to go, ready to rock and roll, great entry. So anyways, that's what we got going on today, guys and gals. And still the Doge article. So that's what we got going on today. Any questions? I'll give it a couple minutes if you guys want to ask a couple of questions. But in the meantime, if you're not part of our group, head over, sign up, because we are dishing out the best alpha in crypto. I'm really proud of the things that we're doing here. We've got great new strategies coming up, and we are just making good money. Even when the market's going down, we've got a position for that. And I'm really excited in regards to the strategies that we are taking. So Ruben's thrown in the website as well as the code to use. We have 7 days of free use in our app, and it's really cool. We've got an app that is on Google, that is on the Apple Store. You can use it on your phone if you want to. I also look at my app personally. I like doing it from the computer. I like doing a lot of things from the computer when it comes to my crypto stuff, just because I can type faster and all that stuff. I can post way quicker. But anyways, this is definitely something that I think anybody who's looking to get into crypto, or even been in crypto, but they don't have necessarily the best resources, that they can come to, and they can get lots and lots of really good alpha and education from the bottom of the barrel, that people just don't know anything in crypto, to experts. We've trained them all, and trust me, we have. All right, guys, gals, that's really all I've got today. We've got to be looking at this, what the SEC is doing. We got to get these guys out. All right. And we've got to come up with a better system, in my opinion, overall. But for right now, all right, unless you want crypto to be non-existent in the United States, we got to vote against these totalitarian Democrats, in my opinion. And again, man, I used to be a Democrat, and it was funny because when I was a Democrat, the Republicans were doing what the Democrats are doing now. They came out with the Patriot Act, which totally violated our privacy, with the intent to keep us safe. And I'm just like, no, thank you. And then you go and start a war with Iraq, which had nothing to do with this. All right. And now we look back and we're like, oh yeah, whoops, sorry, our bad. There's all sorts of theories behind that as to why they went to Iraq. Maybe they were looking for some stuff that Iraq had, that not gas either, by the way. But there's just all sorts of things. People, millions have died. Millions have died because of these forever wars. And in my opinion, crypto solves a lot of this. All right. Crypto solves a lot of this. Yeah, I'm not liking a dual party either. And in most countries, guys and gals, the country that I live in right now, Panama, doesn't have a dual party. There's like 5 different parties. All right. And one of them wins every 4 or 5 years. Now, the last party that was in Panama wasn't so good. All right. But yes, got TNX 14. You are right. Totalitarianism exists on both sides. Two-headed snake, like Ruben says. All right. Ruben, our DJ, always says, right wing, left wing, same bird. All right. So we've got to get out of this two-party system, especially in the US. And I think this is the year, guys, gals, this is the year with RFK ahead in the vote. He's coming in as an independent. Like, this is unheard of. This is unheard of. So I really want all of us to be paying attention. And like, I know most of us usually don't vote because we're like, whatever, what's my vote going to do? I think this year it will. Your vote could save the world this year. All right. Could save the world this year. And I'm voting for RFK. I know my mom always said, you don't tell people who you vote for. But I'm sharing it. I'm sharing it. And by the way, let me share this X post with you. Guys, gals, this is a video that they just put together of RFK. Listen to it. He's not this perfect person that, he was on drugs. All right. At one point in time, but what I love is that he really has fought for the little person, and he's got a legal track record where he did that. He had multiple huge class action cases where he took on some of the largest companies in the world, Monsanto, Pfizer, some of these huge companies, okay, in regards to vaccines back before that was even a problem, okay? And I think right now is the time that we need to be really, really on this. Yeah, who hasn't been on drugs in America is depressing. Yeah, that's exactly. But look, we've gotta take a look at this, and like literally something that happened when he was in his 20s. Give me a freaking break, right? Like, let's move on. The guy's in his 70s now. He's had a lot of time to reflect. Man, if I told you guys some of the stories of my 20s and part of my 30s, your mouth would be down. You know, I'd hope that you'd show up, because I used to be a totally different person. But sometimes we have an aha moment. Sometimes we have an awakening. And I think that this guy really has woken up, and not like this woke mind virus that's going around that the Democrats are floating around. It's a real woke, where people are waking up and going, wait a second, we don't need this two-party system. We don't need this bullshit. We don't need a central bank. We don't need this fiscal policy where they invent money out of thin air. Okay. Man, Annie Mir is on it, man. Annie Mir is on it. He is preaching today in the chat. Guys, gals, I'm gonna let you be. Lots of love. Let's get to it. Let's make lots of money, but also let's change the world. Let's do it. I think this time around, our voices do need to be heard, and we need to get the word out, because this SEC clown that is a puppet for the Democratic Party, and it's become a partisan issue. I promise you guys, if the Democrats were the ones that like came up with crypto and made it their thing, the Republicans would be fighting about it. This is why I want an independent, to be quite honest with you. So let's get with it. Let's not make it a partisan issue. This is something that is solving finance. This is what we teach. And let's get with it, guys. All right, everybody. Cheers. I'll see you on Casey's going to be on Thursday. She's got a really good one. Share with your friends once you see it pop up in YouTube or in the ARC app, and get it out there. Get the word out, because we want to liberate people financially from this tyranny that's going on from both parties, guys. Right wing, left wing, every wing. All right. Lots of love, everybody. Cheers. See you on the